Hello there. Hey, Bo, and hey, whomever else is out there. Yeah, just thought we'd continue on. I need to redo some maps. This is continuing on with an adventure that still has yet to be named. Let me switch windows really quick. I have done some stuff. Found this picture. I was looking up the seven deadly sins, and this picture came up for greed. It's called The Worship of Mammon. It was by Evelyn de Morgan, I think from 1900 something, 1902, 1901, 1903. Hey, RPG Grandma. And it's kind of fitting because it's a female figure who is, worshiping at the feet of Mammon, who is, I guess, kind of a demon or devil associated with greed, or a version of the devil, a face of the devil. And that's kind of a driving, a little bit of a thematic sort of thing here with uh the uh the lady Odavera, who's kind of driven by kind of greed to do what she's been doing. So I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. And it doesn't quite fit because it's more of a squarish painting. So I might mess around with the placement a little bit more, but you get the gist of it, I think. I need to do these I think what I might do today is switch over to designer. So one of the neat things with the Affinity, I'm in the Affinity Suite. If anyone asks, I'm in the Affinity Suite. One of the neat things with the Affinity Suite is you can actually access the different tools from within. I'm in Publisher, which is you can see I'm laying out pages. That's the layout program. Within there, I think they call them personas. You can access the other applications if you have them. And I got to think with this. I don't know if the sale's still on. If you missed the sale, apologies, but it's a good sale. You can basically get all three for a pretty good price. And then you can basically swap back and forth. So if you need to if I wanted to mess around with this image, probably the best thing to do would go to the photo persona. I can mess around with it there. In this case, this drawing stuff would be in the designer persona. One thing I don't know is I don't know how robust if I'm in publisher and I start doing a lot of layers and shapes and things with the kind of designer tools on a given page like this to make the maps. I do question how how is it going to handle that? Is it going to get really clunky? I actually did it on another thing where I had the cover of the book and I think it was working okay, but I wonder. I got okay. So Bo, yeah, I have obviously, as you can see, I'm in Windows. I haven't gone the step. I've messed around with Linux. It was a long time ago. I should probably revisit it. I should probably figure that out. I just always find like when I was on OS X Macs, using a Mac primarily, I loved it. It was a great operating system. But there always be these niggling things I couldn't get to without having to muck around with Windows, and because they just weren't available for Mac, and that I found that frustrating. And I know there are ways around it, and there are things, but I never found I could make those ways work well for me. So I ended up kind of, when I went up getting a new computer, I went back to Windows. A long time ago, I messed around with Linux, and I liked it, but I found those same kind of things. I found the workarounds to try to get Windows stuff to work, or just the stuff that wasn't on Linux at the time, frustrating. And then a lot of stuff was command line, and I just wasn't. My mind just wasn't in the space to really be picking up all the command line stuff. I just wanted something I could do everything within the UI and not be like, I got to print out a bunch of stuff. Because if something goes wrong, I got to go into command line. And if I haven't remembered all the command line stuff, then I'm kind of screwed. And I had some issues with that. So I ended up kind of not really pursuing it. But maybe I should do it again because that was a long time ago. And hopefully things have changed. In terms of this, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to designer and just design in designer. And I'll pull in those maps, which are somewhere. And then I can pull those in and we can work on getting those, because I think I've mentioned, if not, the maps, which are okay. They're not my favorite. I mean, they work. They're fine. And I don't even care too much about the beauty of them. But there's issues with, if I'm going to put this on itch or do something with that, there's just issues with rights. So these were done on, oh, I forget the name of, I'm forgetting the name of the app now. Web app. It was it Dungeon Scrawl? Forget what it's called now, but it's owned by Roll 20 now. So, and I don't know if this is associated with when Roll 20 bought it, but you have to be a you have to be a paid user. So they have a free. I think it is Dungeon. I think it's called Dungeon Scroll. You have to be a free user to just to yeah, Dungeon Scroll. You got to be a free user. If you're sorry, you have to be a paying user to be able to kind of commercially license it, and then within that, if you commercially license it, you also have to look at what packs you're using, what actual graphics you're using, and then you might or might not have have the rights, and how do you have to do each one of those? And it just seemed like a pain. I wonder if I can do this. Importable content. That's probably not what I want. So I have some I have the stuff for this, and I think where's my symbols map? Is it around? Did I close it? Must have. So what I'd like to do, I don't know if I can. Is there a way to copy these? Do I have to copy them? I don't know. Can I copy these? Can I? Is there a way to? No, let's do that. Let's see. Highlight, highlight. No. Control, control. No. I have some stuff like I'm going to want barrels. What did I just put here? Hold on a minute. Let me. No, that didn't. No, I'm not trying to do that. Let me try to do that instead. What is this? Meta. Oh, that's some text. No, no, no. I definitely don't want that. All right. It looks like I'm going to have to do a little copy pasting over to get some stuff over. Let me see. What's the easiest one for me to? So that'll be something Affinity. If you are watching Affinity, I would love if you could help myself by doing things like being able to make a pack of symbols and just copying them over to avoid what I have to do now, which is go through all these different shapes and grab shapes. All right, so I'm going to copy a barrel, right? That should work. I should be able to paste a barrel. Okay, so then I puts it in the symbol. All right. Well, we got that because I'm gonna need a barrel. I don't know if I'm gonna need. There we go. Let's just. What else am I gonna need? I'm gonna need a door, so I might as well grab a door. Door, barrel, barrel. Yeah, I know. I got a lot of barrels. Got a lot of columns. I'm gonna need stairs. Actually, that's fine too. Yeah, I'm gonna need stairs. And apologies, this is not the most thrilling thing. While I'm doing this, what's everyone else got going? How's everyone going? So there's the if you're in the U.S. and it's funny because why do I say it's funny? It's not funny, but there are people who are from all over. So I know that not everybody's got July 4th as a thing. Has anyone got anything going on? Ah, Bo did not know that the roll 20 bot doesn't scroll. Yeah, they did. And it's fine. And it's fine. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. And I don't know if it's related. I don't want to besmirch roll 20 and say it's their fault that there's this licensing bit, but it's there, So got the staircase. It's there. So we got to deal with it. Hey, I'm always oh, you're in for your lunch break. Nice. I'm always, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's always a double-edged sword, right? I want people, when you make something cool like Dungeon Scroll, I want you to get rewarded for that, right? Like, I mean, same thing I think we all want. Hey, we do something good, we're able to kind of reap the benefits. And oftentimes those benefits with products is that somebody will come along and buy it. Right? And I get it. I totally get it. At the same time, there's that other part of me that's a little bit like, well, it's a little bit of a bummer. because these big corporations buy up this stuff and they don't tend to leave it alone. And often there's that kind of enshittification that starts to descend. It's that kind of that first step towards it. Enshittification tends to be when some corporation who may or may not really have much to do with the original thing comes in and grabs it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, as Bo says, not mad at the creator, but disappointed. Yeah, it's one of those things that, right? I mean, I think ideally we might think that, hey, man, there's a way. Is there a way? Can there be a way for, as a creator, to be able to reap some of that benefit without going through this? And maybe that's a failing in our current climate and system that there's not so much ways to monetize things in that way. Saddened. Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. All right, so I got some things. I think we have enough to start with. Let's see, I can do kind of those kind of stairs. I can do some of these other things. I can make stains. Okay, I think this will be good. I think I'm good. So now I'm gonna put a layer. Let's see, and I'm still a little bit of a muddle. I'm just gonna call it original. We're gonna throw all these three into the original. We're gonna lock it, and we'll change that opacity down a bit. 50 should be good. Um, Rune says it's similar how they feel about Worldographer. I love using the free version, but like $100 for the official for me is a bit. Is Worldographer $100? Is that for real? I mean, I think it's. I've definitely gotten my money's worth. How much is Worldographer? Let's see. Buy licenses. Okay, so Worldographer is $40, $39.95 US. So yeah, could be different. Could be different depending on where you are. Squid Ink Koo wants me to burp right now. I cannot burp right now, but I appreciate the request. Uh, Rune says it's like AI art. Yeah, the thing is, so the AI art stuff's interesting, right? And I played around a lot with AI, and I enjoy it as kind of a fun tool. And I was using it for thumbnails, and some folks got mad at me, and I haven't actually been using it for thumbnails of late. And I actually think I will say this: the getting sort of pushback on using AR in the thumbnails. Number one, thumbnails, YouTube kind of thing. I don't make. I mean, look, I'd love to get to the point where I'm making money on YouTube and I can afford to hire people to make thumbnails for me or do something like that, or just spend a lot of time making them myself. Would love to. I don't have that time, and I'm not, and then they don't make any money, so it's not really a kind of a commercial sort of thing. And the other thing for art is people, for most folks who are just kind of small YouTubers, we're just grabbing art from anywhere, anywhere we can kind of find it. And if we can, I think most folks will try to put someone's name to the art. I know some of the faceless kind of YouTube channels that do things like talk about Lord of the Rings or books and things like that. They'll grab all kinds of fan art and they'll usually put messages in there, kind of where art comes from. But all this art's just getting thrown in there. And artists aren't getting paid for it one way or another. And I thought the AI art was fun messing around with it in a very low stakes kind of way. I wasn't using it on anything that was actually published and make money. It was just kind of like, hey, I can throw some interesting ideas in kind of an AI art blender. And to me, that's kind of the fun of the tool. See what comes out. But it was never to be a replacement for actual artists. It's more was just a replacement for doing the thing I was doing anyway, which was munging together art from different things I would find online in a second and work. But receive some pushback, which I understand because I think popularizing the tool as it is now, it's fraught and it does end up, I think, having a negative effect overall. And I was gonna say that one of the things I think I feel like I make better thumbnails now because I had looked at the AI art stuff and I had messed around with it, and then I had to put it aside, and it kind of sparked in some ways some different approaches to thumbnails. And I'm kind of digging into thumbnails I've been doing now. Still don't get to spend a lot of time on it, but it works. Now, in terms of using AI art for your products, One, when people find out there's AI art in it right now, anyway, where it regardless of the reasoning for it, a lot of folks are just going to turn it. So you're automatically by using AI art, where you feel like you're saving money. Well, I don't have to pay an artist, so I'm going to use AI art. You're just eliminating a broad spectrum of your marketplace. And if you were someone in the kind of OSR, NSR, indie kind of space, which presume if you're watching, listening to me, you might be, then that's a lot of it. Like there are probably, depending on your genre of game, some folks are more aware of that than some. I think some communities are maybe more aware of it or and more opposed or in favor than others. I think the kind of OSR, NSR space, kind of indie space, because it seems it's really there's so much this ethos of kind of punk, do it in the garage, do it in your making your garage, make something happen. It really is kind of very much against a lot of that ethos. You're going to find a lot of pushback. And for what gain are you and what's the real gain for the AI art? As Bo says, it doesn't look as high quality as human made art. No, it doesn't. But yes, you can make a bunch of it. And yes, the AI art, because of what it is, may be superior to all that stuff. But because Bo says AR is better than 90% of the human arts on Twitter. I don't know, 90% might be high. I think it depends. It's going to depend a lot on what you're looking for. But the AR is going to get you a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's because it's just a big amalgamation, right? And you could try to tweak it and get it, and you can, and like I said, you can get some interesting stuff. And I had fun with it, but I don't know if I'm a creator if it's worth what I'm giving up, which is I'm giving up I'm giving up a large portion of potential customers who are just going to see made by AI art, whether it's the because you're going to have to. And I think on definitely on drive through, and I think other platforms probably you have to mark that it's AI art. You can tell when you look at stuff. Generally, the AI art stuff does tend to show through a bit, and so if you don't mention it, so if you put it on a platform that doesn't have a checkbox to say tell us if this was AI art or not, and you don't mention it in your book and people find it, that's a whole other can of worms you've opened up. And then if you do everything properly, a lot of folks are just not going to be interested in your product because it's AI art. And so when you look at kind of all that, it does not appear to me anyway to be really worthwhile to do it. 1 centimeter square. I kind of want 0.25. I don't think it's worth it. I just think that you're better off finding getting some just getting what am I talking about? Public domain stuff. You can buy some packs. People put out art. There's all kinds of ways to get free and cheap art. And then you're just clear of it. Now, you have to do some work. You have to do some work with that stuff. You can do. I mean, that was kind of the whole. I mean, one of the neat things with Mork Borg, right, with the original Mork Borg and kind of the other Mork Borg books, is that. Can I snap? Is that they did a lot with. Can't remember where the snapping is. They did a lot with public domain stuff, just really interesting uses of things, and then creating things with that. I just think it's just better right now. There maybe things will switch around at some point. Maybe people will get different point of views. Obviously, will come and go, and different things will happen, and maybe we'll reach new spaces. But it's like I said, I just think at this point, it doesn't feel like it's worth it. And I don't know why anyone would like. I don't feel strongly, like I wouldn't make it the hill that I die on. I guess is probably what I'm saying there. I wouldn't make it the hill that I want to die on. Like, yeah, this I'm if I can't do this AI art, I'm going to do AI art and to hell with you, kind of in your kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger voice about um it's like really that's what you want to do. Um, because I tend to think I feel like there's going to come a time. Maybe it's coming now. I certainly feel with it where I feel like art just gets wildly overrated because people go on and on about how amazing the art is, and yeah, amazing art is amazing. There's no, I can't really question that. However, I feel like it just gets a little bit. I want a certain thing. How can I get my thing that I want? Um, I get, uh, maybe let's see what this looks like. Okay, so let's see. Rune says, for me, the biggest shortcoming right now is how AI slop always regresses to established tropes. So it's very hard to get very custom looking images. Yes. I mean, there's reasons why not everybody gets even halfway decent results with what they're trying to do. Um, Rune says, yeah, modern D&D books are like half coffee table art books. It's crazy. That's why each book costs $80. Yep. Arbiter Grandma says, good art is good art. Good art is good art, but I want real art. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. And I think people are willing to kind of put up with, hey, it's not perfect, but it's real, you know? Yeah, real tools, real techniques, just real stuff. I was listening to, there's a guy, he does YouTube videos. Oh, what's his name? About music. And he was talking about how music quality has gone down and explaining why this is the case. And his reasoning was that um that there was work involved in making music and learning the craft and really trying to excel at this thing we call music. And now you have all these tools that have over the years. He's not even talking just right now, like AI music, whatever that stuff. He can you can go back and see the roots of it with kind of auto tuning and all these things that slowly erode the the requirements that you need to do things. The requirements in terms of just why do I need to sing in tune when I can auto tune? Why do I need to be good at keeping a beat when I can use tools inside the digital audio the workstations to just put everything and put it on the perfect beat. But one, they just don't sound as good. And he at one point he ran a little comparison between somebody drumming on the beat and then something kind of auto stuck to be on the beat. And there is something lacking in the one that's using the auto thing. There's just not that you can kind of and maybe it's one of those things because you know which one he's playing. It's like it's not a blind thing. Hey, sure. Like I'm not going to dispute that maybe there's some things there, but there's just something, right? There's just something that's not there. And I think the AI art stuff is in a similar vein. There's work involved. We have tools out there. You can just draw. I mean, look at some of the stuff in the original. I don't have the white box or things in front of me, but that art is. I mean, people love it now, but I think it's not like It's not like it was written. Not like the art from that was drawn at the same time as the cave paintings of Neanderthals. Where we look at, wow, they managed to make a kind of a thing that looks like a deer, so it's amazing. Like it was written in the 70s. It was drawn as these. It's not like plenty of wonderful art. Right, this stuff was very what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of a naive art aesthetic, but people bought it. People loved it. And at least it was people who were kind of you knew that the folks who were doing that were sort of into it and doing it. Uh, and 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 so that they were, and it has that kind of going for it, right? I would much rather have that than a bunch of highly polished AI. Or I think to RPG Grandma's point of things just being kind of like real, and it feels an authenticity, and go with that. And if the art is not grand, then kind of so be it. But at least you kind of did it. I mean, I'm in the same boat. I'm putting this thing together, and the art's not going to be great. The cartography is not going to be great. You're watching me muddle around through it, but it is what it is. Spent 20 minutes on art theory, onward to glory. Yes, furniture and building. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot of things, right? It's a lot. I think the thing is about the music thing was interesting, which I think also comes up with the art thing. Not to belabor it, but one of his big points was that you that it erodes the value of it. That people just don't value the hold on a minute. I'm trying to do here. People just don't value music the way they used to, and it goes in the and it goes even beyond some of the tools. I was trying to do is turn this into. Do I need to turn this into curves? There we go. There it is. Um, just don't value it so much anymore. And I think that's a key point. And I think it's the same thing with the art. There are just a lot of folks that just don't value the art anymore. Did I do that correctly? I wanted to break the curve. Lost me. RG Grandma says they end up non valuing artistic genius, talent, and real skill. Right. Yes. And I agree with that. And I think that that's something that is happening. Um, I don't know exactly. I'm not going to say I know what to do with it. Where's that break? Break the curve. I want to break you there. Did that work? Aha, that did work. All right, that's what I wanted to do. There we go. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here, so this is the barn. I'm turning the barn into more of a pen with a smallish kind of covering thing. And I'm going to have the secret down here. I should probably, what is this? I think I'm good. And this is sort of this is kind of the fencing. So maybe I'll throw I don't know if I really want to call it a door. I guess it is a door. No, 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 not you. Not you. I guess let's make, you're probably, well, let's see. RPG Grandma says AI art is supposed to be fun in games, but Rembrandt is not, and nor should it be valued as such. That's true. That's true. But yeah, I think the problem is people have kind of right to the kind of the devaluing, right? It's not even so much that people AI value the AI art, but it's that point of I think they tending not to value Rembrandt, tending to look at Rembrandt now like, what's the big deal? What's the big deal with that guy? What's the big deal with that Rembrandt guy? Rooms has seen the split between art as personal expression and industrial consumerist art. Yeah, but even that stuff, like there were skills involved. And I went to there was a cool, there's a little museum in Manhattan about kind of commercial art, and it's really there's some really beautiful stuff in there. I found it pretty fascinating to I'm just gonna to do, and that's again the stuff that took skill. Everything used to take skill. Now I feel like it seems like we don't need skill anymore. I'll keep this one filled. All right, so let's put this. Let's get down to brass tacks. I don't know. Old people yelling at clouds, I suppose. There we go. And now we'll put a nice S. Where's my statistic? S. No, not. Oh, sorry. I hit Control S. We're gonna change this to super black because I like it. Oh yeah, there was a lot of yeah, the commercial, it was really was fascinating because there was a lot about these guys and the kind of choices they made and the stuff they did and the interesting techniques they used. Just was, thoughtful. All right, so there is our, what are we calling this? Was like a hidden trap door. I don't know. I don't think it is a trap door. What was the S for? I have to go back to Dungeon Scroll and see what that S symbol meant. We need to change that to a T for trap door because maybe because it's hidden. I don't know. I don't know. And then, do we even need more stuff? I'm not even sure we do. I think that might work. That's the door. I don't know. Fence. S stands for hope, as in hopeless. I don't know. All right. So now, here's the thing that I haven't quite figured out how to do yet in a good way. I've just been doing this. I need to put it. I need to put it. I really need to put this at the bottom. Kind of down here. I'm putting in the grid. I've just been drawing the grid by hand. I'm sure this is not the best way to be doing this. I mean, I'm very sure it is not. But I'm doing it, and I don't have to. Do I have the light blue? I'm just gonna do it in black. I'll have to come down. I don't think I have it. I don't think I have the light blue color. I think I have it here. What is this color? All right, let's get that. No, not you. It's one thing that bugs me. I'm trying to make the thing for this tool. I'm not trying to change the color of what I already have. Secret door. Okay. Oh yeah. Right, because it is supposed to be a secret. You're right. You're right. I don't know what. I don't know. That's way probably too thick. Maybe 0.25. And I'll mess around with the opacity later. I just need to get no. Just need to get some lines down. And that. I don't think. Oh, I didn't get that right. Let's do that again. I just want to do line to line. That's it. I think I still have to fix. There's something wrong with that line. I'll fix it in a minute. Uh, Forgot to put in. I'll put in a couple of these lines. Okay. Did I miss any lines? Gotta fix. Yeah, you. Which one are you? These are kind of off slightly on my grid. Is that just me or is the sign on? See, that's why I like having snapped grid. Okay, it's not that bad. I don't know if I'll fix it. I just want these two on there. Say group together. This is grid. Oops, no. Q grid. I want to move the grid way to the bottom of this thing. And then I'm gonna turn the opacity down. Something like that. We are not perfecting. Hey, Ian, we are not perfecting the 5-room dungeon. We are rendering it more imperfect. Okay, so there's our barn. We got our barn. I don't know if I need to put the splatters in there because this is not. I'm not really trying to be battle mat style, and it's just like description wise, it's going to be covered in like refuse and stuff. So this is not. I don't need reflections of there's literally in this square there's a big pile, although maybe I do want to because I think maybe I will make one. I'll make one pile. I don't really know how to do that. Well, I'll make one pile because I do want there's that kind of centipede. Sort of deal, and I'll put it kind of in there. I'm just making some funky curves. Funky curves. Just black, maybe? No, you're not. What is that? Oh, opacity. No. No. How about? Ooh, just want black. There we go. And we don't need a stroke. No stroke. All right. I think that's good for the barn. What's good for the goose is good for the barn. I'll make sure that's inside here and it's high up. Okay. Now the farmhouse is going to be pretty easy. So let's see. Oh, I can't. I was gonna try to erase. I could do. I'm just gonna remove the barn to work on the other one, but I'm just going to do that. Just do. I can't. They're one image, so I can't hide them. So I'm not gonna muck around with it. All right. So I need. Um. I know. I thought there's a way to add the color. And no. All right. I'm just gonna have to. No. Rotate. There we go. All right. Now let's make the farmhouse. Hey, Red Caps. Doing good. I'm drawing out some stuff here. Let's see. I think it was it. Oh, you know what? I goofed up on this, and now look at this. What happened to you? What happened to you? You're supposed to be. No, I thought you were like 3 points, not or 2 points, maybe. Yeah, 2 points. Okay, got to remember that. 2 points. 2 points. All right, 2 points. No, 2 points. What did I do? 2 points. Okay. That. Where's my grid? I don't need to be exact. I think I can't see my grid. Ugh. All right, let's go. How many squares was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I don't really. I guess it doesn't matter. Five. It was 5 by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I kind of like you to snap to this grid, but you're not. You're not snapping. And then Let's see. 1, 2. You know what? I need to. These layers. Some of these layers are bothering me right now. Here we go. I just want to be able to see that. Okay. Is that too big for like a farmhouse? I feel like the farmhouse would probably be smaller than that, right? They didn't need that much. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it's not that big if I'm doing 5-foot squares. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna worry about it. So there's our outline of the house. Then we need a start working on it. We need another door. I can copy you, Mr. Door. Move you over. Okay, we got our door. Now we just need our, what is this? Oh, I think that's kind of the hearth. So we'll make a hearth. Only 1 point now. Thinner, we're inside. We could put you. How are you looking? Yeah, you're all right. And then what is this? It's got, what is it? It's got so we got that triangle, and then we have basically another one inside of it. I don't know. How's that look? Look all right. Take these, group them together. That is our hearth. Bada bing. What else did our thing have? It? We had a bed. I'm gonna put a little loft area up here. Where's the detach? Just want to make sure. Oh, there it is. We're actually gonna move this up. I'll probably have to make this black. No, let's follow these again. Yeah, I guess that's actually no. Let's do it this way. I don't need a whole thing for that. I just need. Oh no, not you. Yeah, I just need. All right, that's it. Okay. And then we need some beds, which I think I have. You know, it's a family. It's a family. It's a family. Got 3 beds. I don't know whether I'm going to do this one in blue or just keep it simple in black. So I'll come through and redo these or I'll recolor them to be black. And then we could put we got a table here. Let's put a table. And I think we had a couple of chairs. Did we have some chairs? I thought we had chairs. Did I not bring the chair in? I don't think I did. Okay. Must be 180. Boom. How does that look? Farmhouse with a loft, beds, a couple of tables, or a table, a couple chairs, and a barrel. I think that's pretty okay. And not hard to do. I don't think I'm utilizing any tools in ways that anybody couldn't do. I am definitely not, like, to be clear, I am not some kind of graphics whiz. So I think this is something that's readily attainable to anybody. You want to just throw some tools out there. Very easy to make these, just some really, because they're all just simple shapes. At the hearth, all these things are really just an amalgamation of simple shapes. And I guess I go through I say this merely to I just want to, illustrate that some of the things that we end up paying for, I sometimes I wonder, like, do we need them? And these exercises often remind me of, like, I don't know that we do. I don't know if we do need them. No, was that what I highlighted? I copied that. No, I didn't mean to. Meant to, I should have gone to the right. I had the grid. I just didn't think about that. And then I'll put that in here. Now, granted, some of the stuff that I'm doing now, like throwing in a grid, it's annoying. Whoops. Or at least it's time consuming. And I certainly see that argument for I don't want to do that. Why do I want to waste my time when something like Dungeon Scrawl or whatever other tool will do it for me? But benefit the benefit of it, in my opinion anyway, is that this is yours. Like, this is mine. I can do whatever I want with it. If I want to do something a certain way, there's nothing telling me I can't. There's no limit. There's no, oh, it doesn't exist in the settings. There's nothing. This is completely mine to do with as I will. I don't even just mean that in terms of distribution. If I wanted to, actually, I could do something like, oh, let me, I could, maybe I will throw these up onto something like Itch and say, here, folks, you want some symbols? Here's a buck. Give me a buck. Have some fun symbols. All right, totally could do that. That's probably not what I'm going to do, but I could. Because they're mine. They're not someone else's. Because they're mine, I can do it. And then of course, there's all the stylistic stuff. If maybe I want it to look a certain way, behave a certain way, well, it's mine, so I can do that. I'm not limited by how somebody else decided that they wanted it to be. Okie dokie. So there is our barn, and I'll position these differently. I will reposition. Let's see. There we go. There we have our farmhouse. Maybe it would be more like this. Maybe there'd be a well out there. Should we put a well in? I don't know if these would end up being connected. Maybe they would be. Would they? Would they? Did they? Maybe. I don't know. We'll put a well. I don't think I have a well here, but I think I have a well over here, don't I? I know I do because there's one right there. Something happened where, for some reason, some of my symbols, they're still symbols, but they're, oh, there it is, actually. It was there. But some of them weren't showing up anymore. I don't know why. There we go. Hey, Brian Smith. Okay. Oh, yeah, let me save this because that's another thing I found sometimes. We'll just call this, I don't know, rat maps. I don't have another name. I don't have another name for it. I could probably put a tree. We'll move to the side and we'll, I don't even know what the best. Can I group those together? I don't even know if that's a good tree. I'll just put that there as a placeholder for a tree. I got to look up what a good, really simple tree. I'm sure I could do something like put some other lines in there, or maybe put some like a trunk kind of thing, but I'm not super set. Okay. So we got our blob tree, we have a well, got our pen and our little barn, and we've got our farmhouse. Done and done. Now we need to do, whoops, ooh. No, I'm probably gonna have to move this down just to get it out of the way. Yeah, we can do that. Done and done. Um, I wonder, I gotta stop because part of me is wondering if I should put these next to each other like this and then have the doorway. I'm not gonna, I'll monkey with that later. Okay. I don't have too much more time, but let's see about doing these. So I mentioned this. It looked like Dungeon Scrawl doesn't have a great way of doing like a kind of fractally crunchy, cavern wall kind of thing. I was able to get a little bit, just but it doesn't have a good one. Now, unfortunately, neither does neither does Affinity. There's not a kind of fractal filter. And I think I saw what, if I'm remembering correctly, I saw some other folks deal with this by using a different editor to make the fractal kind of wall and then import that into Affinity. Um, I don't think I'm in love with that. I don't want to have to do that. That seems to me to be a big pain. And one, I think in that way I like to keep it a vector in these kind of things as long as possible because that just gives me more flexibility to resize it and do stuff without losing any quality. So I think that method involved making you'd have to have a rasterized copy, which I'm trying to avoid for now. Maybe it's a fool's errand for me to avoid it. Ultimately, is meaningless. Not going to argue that. Wouldn't be the first time or the last time that I've done things foolishly. But I'm just going to see that. And I'll have to clean this up to get it into the, to at least get it kind of lining up somewhat with the grid. Because I can't really see my grid. It's this grid, but I just want to get kind of the general shape that we had before. Yes, need to get my Mandelbrot. Indeed. And I'll be able to move all these points around. I can add more points if I need be. I just want to get the main, like I said, the main gist. And then all right. We've got that. And I don't think I need anything else here. I know there's kind of a stairs things going there, and I know there's stairs things on the other side. That's fine. And I know that there's some things I can throw in the middle. Also fine. So what's that? Okay, that's my. Is there two things? Oh, that's the tree and the well. I got to put those in the farmhouse. Get those in the farmhouse. Okay, so now I think I don't need that other layer anymore. Boom. All right. We've got, now we can see our grid. Now I can make some of these maybe a little bit. Something like that. It could be like, that's fine. It could be fine and dandy. Just trying to get, I don't want, I don't want some of these passages, I don't want them to seem too thin, so people thinking they can't actually get in them, or anyone who's running it. I want to make sure that they're maybe a squeeze. I don't actually really care about how somebody wants to call it, but I just want them to feel like, oh yeah, we can. This is something we're meant to be able to get into. It should be obvious, but even still, a couple of narrow areas up here. I just want to make sure, and it's just about feel. I don't have any particular. I don't have any particular anything particular about anything. Okay. I don't know, is that a little bit more variety there? Look at all them points. Okay. Yeah, I think that works. I think that'll work. Now I gotta put a grid on top of it. And there probably is a better way to do the grid. I haven't found anything. Somebody, if you know Affinity, somebody let me know. what they found whoops, in terms of um, grids, because there doesn't seem to be a. Okay, that is the. We'll call this the worn walls, and then this is actually one underneath that, which is no, okay, and then what am I? I'm on the fill tool. What the heck am I on the fill tool for? I guess I should just go like left to right or right to left, right? There's no. I guess that'll be good. And then why is this like this? Is that centered? I guess it is. The other thing sometimes with I feel like the displays, there's some kind of oddities sometimes with just how something is displaying and not necessarily how it is. And I guess I don't ultimately I'm comfortable with perfection not being on the cards. So if things are slightly off, I suppose someone can at me and tell me that my grid is, I suppose. You know what? Sure. Fine, fine, fine. It is whack, potentially. All right. Getting these in here. I know. Fun, 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 fun. Oops. Where am I? I'm there. Oh, I'll show you. I'll show you before I wrap up. Remind me. I'll show you a little bit of what work I've done, so it's not just totally watching me draw lines. And then I guess the other thing is, oh yeah, I put out a call before. Anybody doing anything like gamey wise? If you have the holiday or not the holiday, any good gamey stuff going on? What are people? Anyone got some Fourth of July action? I'm curious. Oh, I did. Where's my book? Oh, I did find this book at the library. So I had to take my daughter to the library, and she got a book, and I got this book, Navigation with and Without a Compass. Seems like I got some neat stuff. It's not a particularly. I think it looks fairly new. It's got a nice, clean. When was this published? 2019. But I thought it's got a history of navigation. It's got some stuff about different maps. It's got some. I thought it was some interesting stuff because I'm always intrigued. How to avoid getting lost. Stop, think, observe, and plan. I might read some of this on the channel at some point while I have it. We'll see. Oh, Ian, sorry, Brian's playtesting their car crashing game. Nice. And then, ooh, Ian got you got a 3D printer. Oh, very nice. Jealous, jealous, jealous of the 3D printer. More Mothership. Oh yeah, your Mothership's game sounded really fun. I do want to play Mothership. I haven't played any sci-fi kind of games in quite some time. In fact, the closest sci-fi game I've played in a long time was that Mork board game I played in that had a kind of a sci-fi-ish bent, or maybe sci-fantasy. I don't know, fantasy sci-fi mix. And the kind of end of the game was there was a spaceship kind of thing going on, but it wasn't really a sci-fi game. But that is the closest I've come to playing sci-fi in quite a while. Hey, Samuel. I'm doing the very, very interesting and exciting work of adding a grid manually to a dungeon. And I'm in Affinity, and there's probably someone who's going to be laughing at me because there's an easier way to do it, but I don't know it. I don't know it yet, and sometimes, and I found this true with myself. Other folks may find it super different, but I find with myself that I can end up wasting a whole bunch of time trying to find a solution to something, and it may be there. I may find it, like finding the grid. I may, if I do enough digging around, I might be able to put together this method. But by the time I've done all of that, I've just lost a bunch of time. And that time isn't made up. That rabbit hole that I spent all that time going down didn't actually result in a big did I make an extra curve? Yes, I did. Didn't end up really saving me time, right? It just ended up making more time and more time. And so now I've kind of, when I can, because I still love to go down rabbit holes. I find myself looking at like, what can I just do now? What can I get? What can I do now? What can I do where I don't need to spend a whole bunch of time learning something? So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, love being yeah, it is fun being in the weeds, totally. And that's kind of part of the appeal. The bad part sometimes is what you just the time you end up going down all those weeds, and then the payoff just isn't necessarily there. Just in terms of what you're actually, that savings of time, right? Okay, I've done this. Great. How much time did I actually save? Maybe nothing. Maybe nothing. Or I really didn't save anything because even though I got this cool kick-ass method that might help me in the future, now it's just taking me twice as taking me enough time to do it now. Um, so I've resigned myself to making some manual grids for now, and then to get her done, so to speak. And then at some point I will revisit it if I can find a tool, if such a tool exists, because there's not always the tool for that. And it could very well be that there is no particular tool for doing these kinds of grids in Affinity at the moment. Okay. Let me get this going. But I think the maps, come on. I mean, if we look at the map, I think it's a nice, it's not going to win any awards. I'm not going to be vying with Dyson logos for some kind of any for cartography, or I don't know, whoever you want to pick as cartographer of choice. But really, I just want it to be clarity is what I'm going after. Can someone read the map and get what's what without going bananas? And I think this will succeed at that, which is kind of all I want. I just want it to be readable, readable, beatable, and I can add other things. I can add flourishes if I get so like, oh, look at, I can do what wonderful things. Yeah, I can add some flourishes. I can add some flair. I can do all that. Let's see. Oh, I gotta do another one. I will take a break and let's see how many more things. Oh, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Yeah, these are 5-foot squares. So these will be kind of squeezes. The party will have to squeeze their way through some of these, which is good. These are not ginormous spaces. They will have to squeeze and squeeze. We come across. And then I just need 90s again. Oh, look at that. I might fix that. We'll see. We'll see. I feel it's not terrible. Everything doesn't have to line up, right? Right, right. How did those get above? I wanted everything to be below the grid. Yeah, you're supposed to go here like that. And there we go. I think I got, oh, I can see one I missed. Right there. I really would prefer you snap in. I think you then did. Drag you guys down. Am I missing any? Right up there. Okay. Okay, I think we've got it. And I will do stairs and stuff, maybe on my own or maybe tomorrow. All right. And then I've just got the tavern level to be done. I know there's a way to view things just without the. Isn't there like a way to do it? View mode, maybe? Where is the. I thought there was a way just to see it. No, is that window? I don't know. I'd like to be able to. Like, I suppose I could turn off the grid. So there you can kind of see where we're at. Where we're at. So we got our. We're 2/3 of the way through. Farmhouse thing and tree blob. I'll have to figure out how to do that. So we have our uh, farmhouse with the kind of little sort of pen and barn area. We've got our underground Warrens area, and then I just need to do the tavern. So that will be, and then the maps will be done. So I'll just take a quick. Let me give you a quick run through. Like I kind of, so these are just those, the placeholder. I don't know if they'll actually be on this. This is the cover page, really, so they won't be there. It'll be somewhere else. I found this artwork. I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. It's called "The Worship of Mammon" by Evelyn. Was it De Morgan? Yeah, Evelyn De Morgan. It just seemed kind of thematic. I was looking up the 7 deadly sins, and this one is for greed, kind of inspired by that, and it just seemed appropriate because here we have a female character who has definitely kind of reached out to dark powers and for kind of a greedy sort of thing. I just kind of fixing up the fonts a little bit, sort of throwing, trying to start to get it's a very simple. This is a very, very simple here. I'll just turn stuff very, very simple format. These are all these are, I guess, digest size. So basically, this spread is one letter page cut in half. So each page is 5.5 by 11. So basically, a letter page turned on its side, landscape folded in half. Essentially, is what this comes out to. So I've just got the overview. I am adding a second, so I have to add in one map. I'm going to add in is for the hostelry. So I had this idea. An idea came to me. And the idea was a little bit of the question popped in my brain. So if we come back to our maps, right? We've got the farmstead, and they kind of tunneled their way into this kind of open void cave, and then found their way to the tavern. And then we got these two offshoots. The question popped into my brain is, boy, isn't that a lucky? How how lucky? How lucky for Odavera, our antagonist, that she happened to dig into this void and then dug into here. Right? Isn't that lucky that there's happened to be this natural void sitting essentially underneath the town, and that from there to the tavern. Super lucky. So I was thinking about that, and I thought, okay. And I was also thinking about there's not a lot of loot. And I don't mean it to be ton of loot. This is not an adventure you run because you're trying to get a bunch of loot. Now I want there to be reward in the terms of money, and I think I'm going to call it favor, which will have an XP value, so you'll be able to, if not level up, then you'll get your XP. But there's not so much in the terms of actual like treasury stuff. Maybe one of the lead henchman types, maybe will have something. I don't know. But I was thinking about it. So I was thinking about, well, we have this hostelry, right, which we mentioned is run by the priest, and that the party will probably be staying at. And this is also where the lady stayed before she ran away. And it'd be attached to a temple. And I thought, well, what if one of these little mini voids connected to the temple in some way, that kind of the crypt down there, and maybe there was a connection. And I started thinking about, well, what if, so kind of going down these what ifs. Okay, so what if the temple, there was a connection to this void, and it was walled up? It used to be that you could get from the temple. Let me zoom in here. That assuming maybe there was a door that was to the temple, but it's been walled up, and originally you could have gotten in here. And the reason why I thought this was interesting is maybe when Odavera was spending the night at the hostelry, that maybe the priest gave her a little tour, or kind of walked her around, and she saw the walled up. Originally there was some kind of archway, perhaps, and it's been filled. The door, door was removed, but the doorway, you could still see it in the masonry, and it was filled in. And maybe she asked about it, or maybe the guy told her about it and said, "Oh yeah, there was a cave. There was a cavern, a natural thing here underneath the hill, and maybe in older times when there was troubles, that was somewhere that the people could go. It could be that kind of last place of safeties. You could hide under here. Maybe there's a well in one of these other rooms, and maybe it connected into another house, aka the ale house maybe had another one of these entrances. So now when she's coming out to getting the farmstead, maybe she targets that farmstead because it's close to the hillside, and then she kind of has a target. When she gets in here, she makes this connection. Then she kind of knows a little bit. So it's a way of in a way of transmitting the information. And it also means, so there's two things. There's one, is just kind of the backstory. I'm kind of filling in a little bit of what information does she need for her plan. And yeah, it could just be luck. Oh, there's happens to be a void here, and yeah, okay, that's great. Or it could be like, no, it's there, and she found out about it from the priest and then makes use of it, which I like. What that also means is that the priest will be able to communicate this information to the party potentially. And remember, this is really an investigative adventure, so the party is going to be investigating. So hopefully that means they're asking questions and interrogating witnesses and people. The priest, depending on why they're hired, because there's an angle that the priest may hire them, but maybe and then they'd have to come up with that. Maybe the priest would tell them about it, or maybe wouldn't. He'd have to come around to it that way. But certainly, if and I changed it from a duchy because I feel like a duchy was too big. I wanted something smaller, so now it's a barony. The baron or the merchant, who there's that triangle between the Odavera and her father, the baron, and this merchant, and this marriage that she doesn't want to be a part of. That if they get the job through them, they're going to get led to the priest pretty much right away, because the priest was going to be one of the last people to see her. she was staying at the hostelry. So if they're doing their jobs at all, they should end up talking to the priest, and then of course, then the priest can kind of tell them that story in dribs and drabs, however you want to get the information out of, oh, and I did this or that, and I told her about, I kind of took her on a tour. Maybe he takes them on the same tour. Maybe he remarks about this other thing, right? There are ways, and then the party can. It's not necessarily going to the party's necessarily going to have this light go off in their head, like, oh, of course she's down there, but it's just an idea of this thing exists. But it might be there in a certain way. And of course, we have that they can find the doorway in the alehouse, or they could find the doorway in the taverns. But it's another way of just kind of connecting things together and making a little bit of a web of clues in a sense of information. So part of that means now, though, I guess the flip. So we now the reasoning, but now it means that I want to detail that place out a bit. So I'll make up, but it won't be anything special. I'll make up a couple of rooms. There's going to be there'll be a temple area, which will be very small. There'll be the hostelry, which is going to be a couple of rooms with some bunks in it. Basically, it's nothing fancy. And then a lower room with the crypt, and then the crypt will have that entrance. And I thought the thing with the crypt, getting back to the loot part, is it's another angle for the party to interface with the adventure. Depending on who they're working for, depending on what they feel, maybe they will try to enter they'll try to break open something in the crypt, and there'll probably be some kind of undead or something down there that's not coming out. It's not there, but obviously if they go breaking open a vault to go see what they can steal, maybe there'll be like an undead thing there. And of course, it's another way for the adventure to take on a life of its own, because depending who they're working for, then maybe they'll annoy the priest. It might make their job harder, so on and so forth. But maybe they'll get a +1 something out of it, or a scroll or something. I don't know. Right, just another way to do things, but it's just a more connective tissue sort of thing. And then beyond that, I tried to just put a little thing here just to describe a rattling, and then I've just got these backgrounds and the main background of the adventure, the main people. So Lady Odavera, I did come up with these two. I'm calling them greater rattlings. Basically, the idea is that the mysterious stranger who gave the lady the ring and turned her into a were rat. She has the pearl and the ring, and turned her into a were rat. He left two kind of these greater rattlings with her. And the greater rattlings, the difference is that they are more intelligent. The idea is that the lesser ones, the one that she's creating the pearl, are kind of befuddled because their minds are sort of stuck between these fleeting glimpses of their old memories and then sort of radishness, rodentness. But these greater ones, they've sort of been more consumed, but now they have kind of a newer intelligence. And the other thing is they're not subject to the ring. They're under the command of the mysterious stranger. So they're there to kind of, and this is a trope I think comes up in a lot of movies, right? The lieutenant who's there with the guy, but the lieutenant actually answers to the guy behind the guy. And if the guy decides not to fulfill their thing, then suddenly, right, the lieutenant is not their man anymore. Similar thing. They're here to help her, but they're also here to keep her doing the thing she's supposed to be doing. And if at the end of the day she starts to waver or try to do something else, then she's going to find that her command over them will fail. So I thought that was fun. A reason to have these other guys, they're a little bit more powerful. They're kind of another layer of sort of, if she's the kind of main antagonist, they're beneath her. But then, depending on what the party does, maybe they're able to convince her at some point to stop. And of course, then suddenly those guys are not going to want to stop. And just another angle, a little bit of maybe a sub faction in this faction. And then we've got the priest, and then the baron, and then the merchant. I was just kind of fleshing out sort of the kind of plot hooky parts. I've kind of got the locations, something for the NPCs, and I'm trying to define characters a little bit using the temperaments, the sort of medieval temperaments. So I'm choleric, melancholic, phlegmatic, and sanguine. That's just kind of for me, but I like it sort of flavor wise, so I just threw in their definitions there. So that's where I am now, working along. I've almost got the maps right. I guess I should say, given that I have to make one more set of maps, I'm halfway done. I've got these two maps. Now I got to finish basically these two maps done. I have to do I got these two maps done. I have to do this map and then the crypt map, and then it's really just going to be putting together the stat blocks, writing up some descriptions, and then I guess it'll be about done. I don't know. We'll see. What do you guys think so far? You let me know. If you got any other ideas, remember the base files, the base for all this is free on the forums. I've linked to it in various places. I'll link to it again in this video. So grab them and make your own. And I'd love to see what you guys make. I know Tristan from Heroes and Homebrew is making their own version, so I'll be curious to see what they do. It'd be awesome. Maybe I'll have to make it. Maybe once I get this all done, I'll do it. I'll put up a jam on Itch and see if some folks get interested in making their kind of versions. But love to hear from you. Let's see what's going on. Let me know what you got gaming on for the week. Good luck with the 3D printer and the mothership. I can't wait to hear how that goes. For the rest of you, enjoy if you have the holiday this week, then enjoy. If not, then just have a great rest of your day, night, or whenever you end up watching. Listen to this. Game on. Talk to you later. Bye now.